Hey, 5-Minute Church, welcome to Midweek Minutes. We're talking marriages, relationships 101. We talked to the single people last week. This week, we're talking to all you married people.
All the married people. I heard it once say that marriage can be the closest thing to heaven or the closest thing to hell.
True story.
And it can be unbelievably close to heaven. It takes work.
It does. I mean, God knows I've done it wrong, and it has been the most challenging struggle in my life. But yet, when you have a beautiful relationship that God, is in the center of it, and it's not challenging, it's not hard. I mean, you're going to have your struggles. Don't get me wrong, you're going to have your struggles, but it doesn't have to be such a challenge.
That's right. It's going to come to shock to a lot of people, but our marriage is not perfect. However, we have to put the time in. You have to put the thing in. There are 3 things that we kind of focus on. There's lots of things that we could talk about. We want to keep it simple. Number 1, trust is a huge thing. Finance is another big thing, and communication makes the whole thing go round.
I believe with communication, so many things can be diverted in your marriage, in any relationship, as long as communication is there, that you're communicating and your spouse or your partner is communicating properly, that so many things can be avoided.
And I think the number 1 thing with communication is respect. Having respect for each other is, as you see things differently than I see things, but it's respecting your opinion, respecting your perspective, and you doing the same to me. And that helps so much in terms of just trying to talk through everything, the challenges that you're going to face in life and in a marriage.
And not only that, I think agreeing to disagree is huge, because not always are we going to see eye to eye on everything. That's not true. But you're not going to see eye to eye, and so you can agree to disagree, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with agreeing to disagree.
But I think some practical advice is, we'll just throw out a few things, is make sure you're dating all the time. Right?
Always. No matter how many years you have been married, you need to always date. And that's setting aside a weekly date. I know life can be crazy. It gets busy, but prioritize. It's so important to stay connected with your spouse, and I cannot stress that enough. I don't care if you're going to a simple dinner, if you're taking them out of town, whatever it is, make sure you date like you dated when you first started dating.
Especially with kids. The best thing you can do to love your kids is to make sure that this is good.
Because if this isn't, nothing else works.
Right.
It all falls apart. So if you're putting your kids first, you might want to reprioritize, because you need to make sure that this right here is solid, that's the foundation of your family.
And what I love in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, it says 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. You have cold toes all the time. But
all women have cold feet.
But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. I love that marriage passage.
I do too, and I love that the 3 cords that cannot be broken. With God in the center, that it cannot be broken. That's huge. And I think that is the most important thing of all of these things, communication, trust, all of those, that if God is in the center of your marriage, is in the center of your relationship, that everything else falls into play. Yeah.
So our challenge to you married folks out there is just do a couple simple things. Have a date this week, all right? Have a date.
I know that's hard.
That's
and I know
a command.
Especially with busy lives, it's tough, but make it a priority.
And if there's things that you really maybe on your heart or want to communicate, or maybe there's some roadblocks in your marriage, just write them down and have a conversation in public on a date where you can actually discuss these things and listen to one another and give each other an opportunity to talk about those things that are on your list.
Absolutely. And then I also believe prayer and devotion time together is huge. Starting your day off together, praying together that is where I think there is a lot of power. God moves and He hears those prayers, and spending time alone together with God is so important.
One of my favorite times that we share, and maybe I could share with them, but is we'll go on a walk together, and we go on these prayer walks, and we'll just pray. We pray for our kids, we pray for our church, we pray for all of you. We go around and just pray and have that time to connect as we're even walking and physical exercise, and it's amazing mentally what that does for us, but even for the soul as well.
It does, and sometimes you'll even find that your day is getting hectic and crazy, and you're bumping your head up against the wall, and we're like, let's just stop and go for a walk and pray. And it just kind of clears the whole path of everything, and it's neat. So I really encourage that you get alone with your spouse and pray together, spend time with God, because that is important. That's an important essential in your marriage.
If you just do that, those two simple things, have a date night and pray this week.
And communicate.
Just start there. Just start there and communicate. God bless you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We're praying for all of you and your marriages and your homes and your kids. Every day we do, and we love you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you also turn on the notifications so you get the verse of the day.
Turn on your notifications. Like us on social media. Please share these videos, because it's amazing. We want to see 5 Minute Church go viral. We want to see it go viral for Jesus.
Amen.
And so share these videos with just one person that you think might be encouraged this week. You guys have an awesome week. We love you.
God bless you.
It's too broken.